Hello friends, Frogopolis here, and today we'll be watching more Bigfoot movies. Why? Because we need to dig deeper. We're so close to the truth I can feel it. Look at my eyes, they haven't slept in weeks. You and me are getting to the bottom of this. Together. Our first movie is Littlefoot, a children's film where Littlefoot and a polar bear talk about the story to each other while standing almost perfectly still and occasionally moving their mouths and face. And eventually, two penguins come into the frame and stand almost perfectly still while talking about the story. But then you get a huge twist as you can see that this is set in the future and there's a spaceship which has a lumberjack and some alien thing standing almost perfectly still and talking about the story. Um, yeah, this is the movie. This is what the movie is for an hour and 20 minutes. The polar bear and Littlefoot eventually go into what is apparently a spaceship and talk at a cube that has a character in it that also just kind of stands there and talks about the story, while the lumberjack called Barclay starts calling up random public domain fairy tale characters in order to try to convince them to be in a circus so he can make money. That's the plot. That's his big evil plan. He's going to try to force a bunch of random famous figures and fairy tale figures to be in his circus or kidnap them. So they talk, and then Cupid or whatever, or elves, it doesn't really matter. The Easter Bunny comes in at the time, and they talk to each other. And this is the film for, that I mentioned, an hour and 20 minutes. Eventually, you get this random news duo who also give you more of the story to explain what you should simply be seeing done on the screen as they talk to some weird planetary defender group, which is just two robots. Let's see, Dracula's here. Of course, the whole time they're staring right into your soul. Anyway, he apparently just starts kidnapping whoever doesn't agree to be in his space circus show, and there's some like space pirate lizard person that he goes to for help. And of course, we just have to use our imagination that this is all happening because we never see any of this. Let's see. So Littlefoot, the titular character, occasionally goes to other dimensions and is like, "Hey, Barclay's kidnapping people for an evil circus thing," and they're like, "Oh, okay." So this Barclay Blunderbore guy is supposed to be based off Paul Bunyan or something, and is supposed to be a giant, but he's the same size as everybody else. Okay, so yeah, more talking. The polar bear is drunk. He eventually just, I guess, casually lands on the planet Littlefoot is on, but Littlefoot uses the power of friendship or whatever to convince him to stop kidnapping people for a circus. Anything of note is simply told to you instead of being shown, and everything is fine after that. That's the movie. So there you go. Apparently, there's two more of these. I don't think I am quite ready to intake all of that lore, so let's move on to the next movie. Are you ready for Bigfoot's Wild Weekend? Well, I can't show you because there's just a lot of boobs, predictably. But Bigfoot does have a wild weekend. Bigfoot has a not so wild weekend in Bigfoot, UFOs, and Jesus, which sounds like it could be fun, but is actually a serious drama about generational trauma and abuse. So there's that. I don't really feel comfortable talking about such serious subject matter on a video called More Bigfoot Movies, so let's just talk about Bigfoot versus Megalodon instead. Are you ready for more Bigfoot in space? Because that's what this movie is. Bigfoot vs. Megalodon is actually a space warfare movie that starts with a very long info dump about how the Allies are fighting the Archons and this never ending war. Apparently, random historical figures have been cloned and brought back for whatever reason for this space war 2,000 years in the future. But this didn't happen way, way back in the 80s, and they're not just teens trying to get by in high school, so it's not that interesting. We got Bigfoot, who has been cloned to fight in this war for reasons. And then we have Megalodon, who is not on either side, but was a regular Megalodon before being experimented on by the, can I say, Snickerdoodle. If I cannot, I will replace this with a funny word. So, yeah, he was experimented on like 2,000 years ago and has been alive that whole time because he is a super Megalodon. Okay, yeah, this one's gonna need a jazz track too. Let me just. There we go. And saw his home planet destroyed by humans, so he hates them. That is his whole motive for everything he's doing in this movie. He spends the entire movie monologuing inside a tank, though through part of the movie he spends it monologuing inside a prison cell. So the aliens that are being led by Joseph Stalin are like this Satanist occult Illuminati group, and they want Megalodon so they can take his DNA in order to turn humans back into reptiles. But of course, we can't forget about our humans, Van Helsing and Cully, who spend most of the movie talking about their failing love life and how one wants a baby and one doesn't. Also, lots of sex jokes. Just lots of sex jokes. Now, there's also other characters that show up in this movie, but you would have no idea what the relation is to anybody else, because apparently this is part of a trilogy that includes Bigfoot versus the Illuminati and Bigfoot versus Krampus. So this makes the second film where I would have to watch a trilogy of people talking back and forth to understand what's going on. But of course, this movie is called Bigfoot vs. Megalodon, and that means they have to fight right, and I'm sure they put their whole budget into that. It's probably great, so let's watch it. Let's watch the one scene where Megalodon and Bigfoot are in the same room.
Allow me to introduce us. I'm Princess Callie Devine, leader of the Allies. This is my colleague Jack Van Helsing, and this impressive specimen towering over us is known as Bigfoot. You may have heard of him.
Such a human.
You had no quarrel with us. Why did you down our spacecraft?
No quarrel with you. You, the ones who turn Earth's oceans to fire with oil. You, the ones who rendered my home planet a barren radioactive ball. You, but the meddling only made me stronger, more savage, more elusive. Oh, they had big plans, but then they lost the war and me. Now, I won't stop until you're all dead, until you're all extinct.
There you go. That is Bigfoot versus Megalodon. Are you having fun yet? Our next movie is Bigfoot's Bride. Bigfoot's Bride starts with two hunters being hunted by Bigfoot, who not only has his own special Bigfoot vision, but can also screw with electronics. After he takes them out, we get treated to a lengthy, cozy montage of a man fishing. Yup, that's fishing. It's also here where we get to see Bigfoot in all his glory, and I'm going to call him Bigfoot because that is what is on the movie title. I actually really like this creature design, and it's probably the best part of the film. A lot of this movie is this Bigfoot just kind of chilling out in the forest, fishing, hunting, and, just having a good time. I also gotta say, I'm really digging this soundtrack. Great job. Bigfoot comes by a woman on her cell phone yelling at her husband and seemingly breaking up with him as she takes off her wedding ring and tosses it. This actually starts a pretty interesting, albeit creepy, story where Bigfoot shows genuine interest and concern for the woman. We see Bigfoot struggling with the fact that he knows he is far too hideous to just go up to her and talk to her. So you have this sort of parasocial Beauty and the Beast kind of story going on. There's even a rather serious scene where he sees her at her worst and can only watch as she contemplates. God, how can I YouTube this? Unfortunately, shortly after this, the movie performs tonal whiplash after Bigfoot goes off on his own to think and finds some campers littering in the woods. So, yeah, he kills the campers for littering, and I've got to say, I genuinely do love these effects. And he also just kills some guy who's just chilling out. Now, you could say this is because he is frustrated knowing that this camping woman, whose name is Jody apparently, can never return the affection he has for her. But there is further tonal whiplash when we find out that, no, he's just evil. So after killing a few campers, he just goes to her tent and just tries to kidnap her. And when she wakes up and realizes what's going on, she rightfully freaks out. And then he freaks out. He takes out her wedding ring that he found when she threw it away and I guess tries to propose to her right there and then. And it's not as smooth as he thought it was. So she runs away, he goes after her, he starts trying to kill her until a hunter who showed up earlier in the film to warn her that there is a maniac going around shows up to try to save her, but when she comes out of the tent after getting out of Bigfoot's grasp, he just kind of shoots her by accident. So she's dead, and Bigfoot runs away. So this guy goes after Bigfoot, and he finds Bigfoot's lair, and oh, oh, oh no. So I guess this is what they meant by Bigfoot's bride. He tries to help them out. One of them gets away. The other one gets away with him, but is intercepted by Bigfoot. Bigfoot kills the guy and then kills the woman by throwing a hatchet at her. And even though the other woman does get away, she ends up, I guess, giving birth to a baby Bigfoot that pops its arm out of her stomach, alien style. And that's how the movie ends. I did like the effects, and there is a very funny after credits scene where he opens a portal and walks through it. So, Back to the Future. Weird stuff like this is kind of what I'm looking for when I look up movies like this. Yeah, it's dumb, but you can tell they had fun with it, and there's passion there, and they worked with what limited resources they had. And I just really like that. It's one of my favorite things about movies. Now grab your beer and light up that barbecue, because we're going to talk about American Sasquatch. American Sasquatch starts with a web video about a guy talking about his love for Sasquatch and all his theories around them, and has a guest on from the UK who says he has proof that Sasquatch exists. I'm sorry, did I say American Sasquatch earlier? I actually meant Britfoot. So grab yourself a can of Guinness and fire yourself up some fish and chips. The UK guy goes out to get footage of Bigfoot, and he shows us these large footprints on the ground as proof. And wow, look at that Bigfoot footprint. Wow, look at this. Bigfoot footprint. Did you see this? Why is nobody talking about this? Oh wow, did you see that? That's a Bigfoot footprint. Oh god, I have to show everyone this. It's a Bigfoot footprint. Wow. And then of course Bigfoot kills him. Now instead of going back to the webcast guy, we actually go to a trio of Bigfoot enthusiasts. They are the freak investigators, and we learn here that there's actually been a series of disappearances, and people have no idea who or what has been causing them. We also learn that Bigfoot mania is running wild in the UK, and damn it, I wish someone told me. So after talking about Bigfoot for a bit, they do what any genius group of investigators would do and go to see what's happening about all the disappearances. So they drive to the area and make a little web show out of it, with one of the guys bringing his girlfriend along. So you can kind of guess where things go from here. Two of the guys go outside to chat, they get baked, one of them goes off to go take piss, he doesn't come back. They're all convinced he's pulling off a big elaborate prank that involves fur and blood. And then Bigfoot shows up and epically pranks them by killing the guys. The woman get away in the car and the segment ends. We see the webcast guy one more time as he talks about a personal story he has when he saw Bigfoot himself. And yes, I do realize the irony of watching a guy do a webcast where he goes on about Bigfoot, but you see the difference is, I am not a man, I am a frog. Then when that's done, we get treated to watching a pretty relaxing gardening and hiking show. Seriously, this whole segment is this guy doing his daily gardening, working out, and then getting his stuff ready and going hiking in the woods. He does hear noises in the woods and gets his gun ready, but, you know, nothing really happens that night. I guess Bigfoot was sleepy. Unfortunately, his camping trip is ruined when the next day he is attacked by the lead singer of Rage Against the Machine, and he pours ketchup on him. It's really sad. On that solemn note, let's go to the last segment of the movie, where we see a father and son go out hunting. And for this one, we're back in America, and we finally get to see the American Sasquatch. Bigfoot wastes no time letting his presence be known. He viciously chases down the father and son, and the father is incapacitated when he trips and sprains his ankle. In a rather harrowing scene, he can only sit there and watch as his son is killed by Bigfoot. He is able to gain the strength to aim his gun and fire a shot into Bigfoot, but it's too late. All he can do is try to hobble away and get back to his car. But of course, Bigfoot is a magical forest creature, and as much as that man tries, when he finally gets to his car and thinks he's gotten away, Bigfoot pops up and kills him. Bigfoot truly is an incredible creature. Thank you for watching. Watch out for Bigfoot pranks and have a great day. Bye.